Good morning, guys. I'm starting a talk about ENS. So if you are here to listen to my talk about ENS, I'm come. Okay. Woo. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I can't really. I'd like to see people have a conversation. The light is quite, bright. But I'll just start. Okay. So so my name is in this Ethereum world. Probably you know me as 0x5A3A4227B625FA093DEC. And then probably you have something like that with your Ethereum address. But that's basically, it's too difficult to remember and tell to your friends. So I do have this kind of Ethereum native name called Makoto.is. And hopefully, as I just asked how many people have ENS name, people do know ENS. So today, I think I want to kind of focus on one aspect which we didn't really see as a native feature, but like people kind of started evolving the usage of the ENS. And this is a kind of latest thing people started using as a web3 username. So I want to focus that aspect of ENS usage today. And first I kind of explain how the transition happened. And now we're going to explain a bit more about how we want to push this forward. Okay. So from domain to web3 username, I'm kind of, like if you are in this space for a couple of years, you are almost OG, and I'm in this space for about 5 years, which definitely makes one of the OGs. And this slide is one of the first meetup I attended in London, 2016 June. And that's where I met Nick Johnson, who is a creator of ENS. And he was kind of showing very scruffy presentation of him explaining what the Ethereum name service is. And at that time, he just joined Ethereum Foundation guest team. But before that, he had a brief moment. He was working in the Swarm file system. So Swarm is like IPFS, but it's more kind of native to Ethereum. And for most of the kind of file system, it had at that time, Ethereum was known as a kind of world computer. So where Solidity, Ethereum works as kind of CPU. And we had other two components called Whisper as a messaging system and Swarm as a file managing system. And as you can see on the browser, you see Swarm Gateway Net, and to type your basically the content identifier, it was very difficult. So that's where he got the idea from. And now we still have that feature that, like, for example, we now support IPFS Swarm, and we did the integration for IPFS Swarm, but I think Sia and the RV community just raised a pull request, and we do now support their content hash. And also, if you have MetaMask or I think Opera, you can solve this content hash of the basically decentralized web. But main usage is starting as basically how to resolve your Ethereum address. So if you have used, how many people have never used MetaMask? 1, 2. Okay, so yeah, if you haven't used MetaMask, maybe you might be new. But so this is a MetaMask so-called Chrome extension, and from the extension, you might if you want to send ETH or ERC20 tokens, you copy and paste the long hexadecimal, which I showed in the very beginning. But now you can type, for example, vitalik.is, and as you type, so I think one misconception could be like, are you sending to the name itself? Technically, no. Like when you type vitalik.is, each dApps or wallet which integrates with ENS basically look up our smart contract and retrieve the Ethereum address. So by the time you actually send, it's already converted to the Ethereum address and it sent to the address directly. So this is kind of primary usage of the ENS. But we kind of have one feature, and we got the lots of ENS stands for ENS, which very similar to like a DNS, domain name system, which exists in the internet world. So we heavily borrow the idea from the DNS. But one thing, doesn't exist on DNS, but unique to ENS, this kind of what we used to call reverse record, but no one understood it, so we just rebranded the primary ENS name, so that if you register your ENS name, and if you go to our ENS manager, you can basically select your primary ENS name and attach to your Ethereum address. And what it allows is that most of the dApps, like for example Uniswap, when you log in to transact with Ethereum, like send transaction or see your own balance, you have to connect your wallet into the dApps, and by doing that, if you have a primary name set, you can ask ENS that what's his user ENS name is. So by connecting it, you can see your name. Who knew this feature? Raise hands. Who has? Okay, one. Okay, only 2 people. Okay, so you didn't know. Okay, yeah. So 5. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so because this doesn't set automatically upon your registration, it's less known thing. But if you, it's very handy. Most of the people have. Who has more than one Ethereum address? Yeah. Yeah, so you kind of have multiple identities, and you might want to store one address for one particular purpose and not mix with your CryptPunks or something, or your DeFi treasury, right? So you kind of separate out. So it's very handy way to instantly recognize which wallet I'm even connecting to. But this is half of the story. That now, for example, OpenSea have its own username, but also it connects let me just drink water. Like any other dApp, they also know which Ethereum address you are connected to. Not only which address you are connected to, but which address each artist is connected to. So in this case, People Pleaser is very known kind of NFT meme generator. That she's known for creating a very famous NFT art for the Uniswap. And if you go to her OpenSea page, yes, she has People Pleaser as their own unique user ID, but you can also see peoplepleaser.is, which is her primary ENS name. And it becomes even more interesting that if you go to EtherScan, now you can see everybody's transaction with their primary ENS name. So this is the transaction address of pleaserdao.is. So pleaserdao is another kind of phenomenon which just started happening this year. That when People Pleaser start created ads for V3, and that they made it tie into the NFT, and they did the NFT as an auction, a charity auction. Then I think the auction price went to the roof. Then suddenly, oh yeah, I think yours, yeah. So pulled together CEO said, yeah, I'm not afford to buy it by myself. Let's form a DAO. So that's a DAO form, and you can actually see everybody who's doing what in EtherScan without going to their own you don't have to go to People Pleaser app. You just go find an EtherScan. So in this case, James.is is doing something, and also Andy805 is. So all these transactions now you can see in EtherScan. So what it implies that in the era of Web3 username, this is my Facebook ID, Makoto.Inoue. Twitter is Makoto_Inoue, and GitHub is Makoto. GitHub is the only name I was able to grab my first name, but others I was a bit late to the game, so I can't get anything. So every social network I have different name. Whereas if you go to OpenSea, Uniswap, Snapshot, EtherScan, it's all matoken.is. You might go to other NFT platform OpenSea or what was it, Try Showtime. They have their own username, but again, they do the integration with ENS so that you can identify them. I think you can even search with their ENS name, which is very great. That this is kind of cross marketplace user identity. So that's And the power is not just all these 4-5 platform, but now we have over 300 dApps, wallet, and exchanges integrated. So the power is everywhere where Ethereum is. And we also recognize that this way of basically connecting wallet to dApp is, I think, for example, Snapshot, you don't necessarily have to pay a gas to send transaction. It's just like signing message, right? So once thing people started kind of organically start using is using Ethereum key pair as your identity, and you can use it to log in, which means you don't necessarily have to interact smart contract to let user to connect to your app. So we also recognize that, so we about 2-3 months ago, after Vitalik made a talk in ECC about this kind of credit neutral way of using Ethereum address as a login mechanism rather than relying on big players like Google or Twitter. This could be the good ways to not just Web3 world, but also Web2 world can use this sign-in mechanism. So we created a request for proposal, and we got lots of application, and we now work with a company called Sprouse, and we have a joint initiative with EF and the ENS to make this as EIP. So once you do that, not just Web3 companies, but Web2 companies can start have this aspect. And once they start using sign-in with Ethereum, ENS comes with it, which is going to be a very powerful thing. And the second thing I want to push is, another example is that, so this is Twitter avatar. Twitter currently has nothing to do with Ethereum, but people started using .eth as their kind of profile name. And this kind of started, again, organically. I think Nick Johnson claims he started this trend, and Vitalik started, and the people firing up. And this is a screenshot of I think 2019, when people still used to put their own photo. So I can see Eric Connor or Alex Van Sam, Anthony Sassano's real photo in there, right? But now it's 2021. Who puts your NFT into Twitter profile? Yeah, okay. So no one knows who you are when you basically talk. So you might want to put your own photo just to say, hey, this is actually me, So this is kind of taking on fire, and I know that now Twitter is experimenting with idea of picking NFT and so that to use as a profile photo, and they put Ethereum's logo or something. They're experimenting with it. And we first noticed this symptom when Zappa enabled a feature to be able to pick your NFT from your wallet and set it. And this is great, and I actually already set it. But again, this profile information, it's only integrating with Zappa, so this information is not available. But we do have a feature. I will show this one first, but this is the only technical bit about my talk. The ENS registry is a gigantic phone book. All it does is just you have your name and you have your phone number, which is a Ethereum address. But one unique thing is this, rather than, so we call ENS registry smart contract, rather than registry smart contract holds all your Ethereum address, it actually has a pointer to another smart contract called resolver, which is kind of upgradable based on your name. So if we create with a new feature, you change the resolver smart contract of your name, so you can do the upgrade without us doing the upgrade. And as time progresses, I think our primary usage is to store Ethereum address or content hash. But we extend it in a way that you can put multi-coin address like Bitcoin or like Dogecoin. I think Dogecoin we support. But we also have one thing called text record, where you can put arbitrary key and value store. And so what we did is we create a specification that you should be able to store various avatar, including NFT information. So what we did is, this is a version of ENS Manager where you can kind of manage your record, and you can see in the text record field, I put my com.twitter is as Makoto Inoue, GitHub as a Makoto, and in the avatar field, you can see my avatar image. And this is a format, it's like a EIP 155, and you put chain ID, NFT type, either 721 or 1155. Then you put the collection in NFT is often the smart contract which manages all the NFT. So you put the address, and if you put token ID, it basically has all the information to express that this is NFT. By doing that, in the front end, I can actually check like whether this person owns this NFT. So if you own that NFT, we can even put this owner symbol. And this is still like this kind of text record table is still a bit geeky. And again, this is model around the design of when we used to treat ENS as almost like a domain name, domain manager. If you go to like a GoDaddy or something, and if you try to change DNS text record or something, it's kind of this thing. We're trying to work on more kind of social friendly design like this. But the idea is like we are kind of protocol which anyone can use. So already, maybe some of you might have noticed that if you go to OpenSea, and this is my, oh, by the way, how many people know that ENS is actually NFT? Good, okay. Yeah, so now if you put your avatar record, you can actually see your avatar image as part of your NFT's asset, and we all even put our ENS name. So this is already integrated. And also, there's a third party called Davatar Helpers, and they create a very easy to kind of drop in support for enabling these avatar things. So 1inch and Uniswap already integrated, so you can kind of start seeing your avatar straight. And yeah, so this is a case of like Twitter doing their own effort. But like another thing is Twitter is not quite open, so what they do here is not accessible to you as a dApp developer or the user, whereas we have over 300 dApps integrated, and with this sign-in with Ethereum, it's going to accelerate the usage of the basically ENS as a universal username profile name manager. And currently, yeah, these are all the people who already said, so text record itself existed since 2017 when it launched, but it was one of the unused feature. And we kind of spec'd out, and we started talking about, yeah, this does exist last week. And we already have about over 2,000 people set avatars. Most of people still put like image URL or IPFS hash point, but there's over 100 people already set NFT avatar set. So you can basically, in profile photo on Twitter or social media, it's great that you can see you're shown punk, but it also at the same time, it kind of lost your own kind of uniqueness, right? But this is kind of way that you can kind of name your precious PFP. So this is, yeah, so if one thing you want to learn, the takeaway from this talk, which I'm ending now, is that, yeah, you can name your NFT and you can put a PFP record. And this, hopefully this can, make ENS more usable to you guys. And I think that's about it. And so we are working on lots of different things. We just had a ENS so-called workshop where we talk about latest features. And one thing I didn't mention is like currently ENS as an NFT is limited to .eth name, but we are going to upgrade our feature as well, so that like if you are the dApp developer, one usage we want to promote is like dApp can have your issue subdomains, and that can also become NFT natively. That kind of upgrade we are also working on, and all these things we talked, we just put in a YouTube video. So if you want to find out more, check this check this YouTube video. And I didn't talk anything technical today, and some of you may be doing the hacking over weekend. If you want to take advantage of these features, I'll be around for entire this week. So please come say hi and talk to me, and or just show off your killer NFT, and I'll be impressed. Yeah, thank you.